episode 45 of the SND podcast show on the Schmuck Sports Network. You just listened to Across the Bear by Division 1.1. Dan, how you doing tonight?
Good. How's it going tonight, guys? Episode 45, huh? So the Tug McGraw, Henry Hernowski episode.
Pedro Martinez, John Franco.
Yeah, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. Anyway, thank you for joining in tonight. Me and Steve are going to have a fun-packed show tonight. We're going to talk about baseball wild card. The race is thickening in the AL.
There's like 9 teams or something like that.
Yeah, not so much in the NL, even though 3 teams in the NL Central have a shot at making the playoffs. They pretty much have a shot unless they completely crap the bet. But
the only chance is if the Reds struggle. The Nationals have been playing very well. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little later.
We'll talk about that later. And week 2 action, week 2 in the books. Giants are 0-2. We'll definitely get into that. We're both at the game on Sunday, so we definitely going to have our reactions and interactions with that. The Jets lost a tough game to the Pats on last Thursday night, and let's see if they're able to rebound against the Bills this week. So,
who, of course, also Bills coming off a nice emotional last-second win.
So
we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about their Week 3 matchups for both teams, as well as our couple picks that we will have. Don't forget, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You know the deal. Check us out.
Before we start the show, I would like to do 2 shout-outs. First shout-out, congratulations to Lisa, our good friend Lisa, who completely beat cancer. She had her final surgery yesterday, and she was so eager to go to the Met game last night. She tweeted about that, and I tweeted back, that's all we need to know on how you're feeling. So that's great to hear. We're happy to hear that Lisa's feeling better. And 2, our good friend Andy from Eyes on Isles announced that they're actually started their own podcast last night. So you guys should check that out. If you follow Andy or any of the guys from Eyes on Isles, definitely check them out as well. Andy seemed very excited when I was talking to him this week about the show, so stay tuned for them. They do a lot of good work, so definitely take a look at that.
Speaking of,
that was my leadway into this.
Next week we will have father and son battle
royale. So
for Andy and his son Andrew will be joining us to do our NHL preview show. Andrew writes for I think it's Blue Line.
Yeah, it's
something like
Blue
that.
Line Nation.
Right,
which is actually it's a great read.
It's a Ranger read
for all your Ranger reads. It's pretty much the Ranger version of what Andy does for Eyes on Isles.
Right.
So it's both good reads. I actually talked to Andrew a little bit today about certain things with the Rangers. Granted, that was 2 seconds, but nevertheless, definitely give it a shot. We're trying to boost up his viewership as well. Definitely worth the listen if you're a Ranger fan or a Metropolitan observer like both of us are. So we're going to start the show off with a little baseball wild card.
Yes, after we play a little bit more, Across the Bear by Division 1.1.
Welcome back to the S&D podcast. Dan here, and Steve's over there. You just listened to Across the Bear. We're going to start our show up this week with a little division pennant race baseball going on.
I wouldn't really call it division, more of a wild card.
Wild card, yeah.
The wild race for the wild card.
Yeah. Let's start with the easier path to the playoffs with the NL.
How about this? Let's give the 3 division leaders right now.
For the NL right now, the Braves, St. Louis, and the Dodgers all have leads going into tonight.
The only division that isn't really set is the Central, which is St. Louis with a 1-game lead over Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Cincinnati is actually 2.5 back.
But like we projected it since the start of the season, well, not so much the Pirates, but for pretty much the whole season, that the 3 teams are going to be in it to make the playoffs.
Right.
So there isn't any shock with that. As for the Atlanta, they have this Division 1 locked up, ready to go. Too bad underachieving teams like the Phillies. Granted, we didn't expect them to do much this year, but still underachieving.
Yes.
And the biggest underachieving team of the whole league, Washington.
Would you call them the biggest compared to the Angels?
They're top 2. It depends on how you feel on certain things.
Because the Angels spent the money to win this year.
Yes.
The Nationals didn't really spend it.
No, but just the way they were last year, they thought you'd build it up. So it's either or. It's 1A and 1B. So
Okay.
Definitely the National League version.
Yes.
So with that, with the wild card, obviously it's going to be Pittsburgh. It goes down to the wild card is Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. The only way the Nationals have a shot is they're 4.5 behind the Cincinnati Reds for the playoff spot.
Either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati have to bust, basically.
They completely have to bust. It's pretty much Cincinnati and the Pirates are fighting for that one spot. They're only one game, a game and a half of separate each other. So they're going to be fighting to get that home game for that one wild card game. That's going to be interesting to see. Kind of torn because I originally had Cincinnati as my World Series pick, but I would obviously love to see the Pirates make it a run in the playoffs after not having a winning record in the last 20-something years. So,
I would just enjoy watching them have a home playoff game.
Yeah,
just that one wild card game in Pittsburgh.
You know what's going to suck is that's going to be that game that starts really early and no one's going to be able to watch.
And we'll all be at work.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Just like the no-hitter that Roy Halladay did a couple years ago. But that's playoff baseball for you. We can move on. We can move on from the NL unless some. And we forgot the Dodgers, who've had an epic second half of the season. They're most likely going to have the Cy Young Award winner in Kershaw.
Okay, Mattingly.
Oh yeah, Mattingly's definitely winning the manager. Oh yeah,
or the guy from Pittsburgh
or Hurdle. That's tough. But I kind of have to give it to Mattingly for the pure fact that he was about to get fired.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
He was literally about to get fired, and things weren't working. And then you see Puig came, and the whole thing started to click.
Yeah,
they have a shot to be Rookie of the Year with Puig, because who else is going to win that?
Fernandez,
but I think
from Miami.
I think Puig's going to win that. Just how everybody loves LA and everything like that. Puig's going to win it. They have a shot of the Cy Young. There's no question there.
You basically gave it.
Basically have it. The Manager of the Year. That's pretty impressive. And Matt Kemp comes back from the DL, who's been injury prone, but having Matt Kemp in your lineup,
you got to think about this. That lineup is going to be like Carl Crawford leading off. Mm-hmm. You got Capunto batting second, who's a smart hitter. Mm-hmm. Then you got like Puig, Kemp, Ethier.
Don't forget
Gonzalez.
Don't forget Hanley Ramirez.
And Hanley Ramirez and
they have
AJ Ellis. The catcher's been playing well also.
Yeah, they're clicking on all cylinders, and getting a piece like Kemp back is definitely going to be awesome to see.
The thing that scares me about the Dodgers
is their bullpen.
Is that back end of the bullpen? They don't really have that.
But
lights out guy.
But if you're winning 6-2 by a lot of runs, it's whatever. Anyway, that's for another day. We're going to be moving on to the AL, which is a lot more cluster.
Well, besides Boston and Detroit, who's run away.
Yeah, besides Boston and Detroit.
And Oakland, unless they have a complete meltdown.
Unless Oakland has a complete meltdown like the Mets in 07 and 08, they have that locked up. Right now, it's Tampa and the Rangers with the lead, with the wild card. But
Cleveland's a half game back. Baltimore's 2 games. Kansas City and the Yankees are 3.5 each.
Yep.
And unless there's a complete lapse in any of those teams and the Angels just get really hot, they're 9 games back.
Yeah, but that's not happening. Anyway, where do we want to start?
Let's talk about the biggest surprise, Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City actually had a great second half. They finally got what everybody's been wishing for their young talent to actually make a run of the playoffs. They definitely have. They've definitely learned how to be in contention this year. They're actually being the Indians just now. They just showed that on Baseball Tonight, that highlight. So at the moment, that's that. At the moment, as well, as funny as you mentioned, the Rangers are playing the the Rays right now, and that's huge for the standings in the wild card as well. So a lot of exciting baseball is going on right now, and it's really interesting to see who's going to be able to finish out the season strong and make that wild card spot and play in that play-in game.
You know what was very interesting? Yesterday, the 17th, was the first time all month the Rangers had a lead in a game.
Yikes. And that just shows that how cold the Rangers have been. Maybe they're gonna finally click it on the final week, which we can kind of expect, maybe. But I don't think the Yankees have enough. I think the gas tank is finally running empty.
It's over for the Yankees. Injury bug
and just having no life against the Red Sox. Granted, Boston is on a mission this year. Just
fear of the beard.
Yeah, whatever. Overrated. But honestly, though, it's the Yankees' season is definitely coming to an end, and it's finally at that point. The Indians would be a very nice story if they found a way to sneak into the playoffs this year, especially with Terry Francona and his group of men.
I think people expected the Indians to be probably the second best team in that division, without a question. But the fight for a wild card spot was like up in the air.
But there was kind of the flirting idea. They'll contend for a wild card spot. If they get it, phenomenal. If not,
right.
Kudos, congratulations.
Right, they were definitely going to end up in the top two in that division.
But them having 82 wins, from today's date, before or after this game, it's before the game tonight. It's a good job. Terry Francona is one of those managers. He's a player's manager, and players want to play for him. So people were expecting them to be better than what they've been the last couple of years, of course. But for them to be half a game out of the wild card at the moment, it's pretty much kudos on how great of a manager Terry Francona is and how good they're playing for him. So,
yeah.
I still feel at the end of the day, Tampa Bay and Texas are the two best teams out of everybody in this whole wild card scenario.
Sometimes it's not about the best teams; it's about the hottest teams. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to see Baltimore's going to make it.
But honestly, there isn't that one hot team at the moment. If you look at all their last 10 games,
yeah, they're all within like 2 games or something.
The best record is 6-4, and it's the Indians and the Royals. Everybody else is anybody else is under 500 or at 5-5. Then the Rangers are actually the coldest team out of everybody with 2-8 as in the last 10 games. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. The next 2 weeks are going to be really fun to watch. But I think the Texas Rangers are going to find a way to wake up and hold on to that playoff spot. So
you think so? You say Tampa and Texas.
Yeah, I think I find a way.
I think Baltimore is going to find a way to sneak in there.
That would be awesome for Tampa to play the Orioles in a full playoff matchup. That would be cool.
Yeah, but it'll be in Tampa, so only like 30 people show up to it.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, people would drive down.
Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, they'll definitely drive down. I know people drove up to Yankee Stadium for the playoff games last year. So.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of Baltimore fans around there.
Yeah, it was a lot. When I went to Game 5 last year, there was a lot of Orioles fans.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see Kansas City next year.
Yeah, next year.
I want to see if they can build on next year.
Yeah, it's going to be next year.
I hope they can build.
But kudos to them, though, definitely. A year early.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of expect them to be the third best team in that division.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're a year early for being in contention for the wild card.
I really thought they were either the third or fourth for that team, depending on how the White Sox are going to end up doing.
But, yeah, well, we know what happened.
Right. Congratulations to the Houston Astros. Another year, 100 losses.
Oh, did you see that with the tweet I posted last week? Oh, not last week, yesterday. No. That an outside market WNBA game got more ratings than the Houston Astros.
Thanks.
On this weekend's whichever day, but with this weekend's games.
X.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Houston whatever comments were playing and whoever. It was just two random WNBA game teams playing, and they got outviewed the Astros game. It says a lot. That says a lot. There's nothing against WNBA, NBA at all. But it's just they're not getting viewers.
Right.
Opposed to MLB. So that's kind of just says how much your team sucks.
Oh, on that wonderful note, let's go play a little more Cross the Bear, and we'll be right back with the Jets.
SNDPODCAST is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
And welcome back to episode 45 of the SNDP Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Cross the Bear. Before we get into the NFL and the Jets,
Okay.
I have an interesting Nick Saban trivia question for you.
Shoot.
Name the only quarterback to beat him twice.
In his tenure with Alabama? Or
No, his in general.
I'm going to go Tebow.
No.
Who?
Drew Brees.
Oh, wow.
Saban was the coach of Ohio State.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. I saw that after the Manziel loss over the weekend to Alabama. I saw that on Sports, and I was like, that's a trivia question for the podcast.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Anyway, that's an interesting tidbit.
I figured before we talk about the Jets.
Yeah, and honestly, you got to give it up to the Jets.
They covered.
They did
We
cover.
did expect them to cover.
Yeah, at the show, I did that for a factor, but that was definitely stupid on our part. But it was more of how crappy the Patriots wide receiving core is than anything in this game. I'm shocked Tom Brady. I know I'm going to make a murder joke, but the Patriots is kind of awkward. But I was shocked Tom Brady didn't kill one of his wide receivers at all on last Thursday night. He only completed 19 passes for 185 yards.
I know. I don't want to talk about it. Fantasy issues. I don't want.
That's Tom Brady at its finest. Kind of scary to even think about. Julian Edelman only had 13 receptions, 78 yards. That's alarming on how everything's going. Dobson, who did score that early touchdown in the game, the only touchdown in the game actually, he had the dropsies pretty bad. And the one thing I do have to say with Tom Brady, I know he's a world-class wide receiver and quarterback, and he deserves everything he's got. But you can't show up your wide receivers and have a hissy fit every incomplete pass. I know you're frustrated, but dude, you're Tom Brady. You know you're gonna work it out towards the end of the season and find a way. You just gotta calm down.
Yes, and also, to be fair, he also didn't have a running game.
Oh yeah, Ridley's in the doghouse, sort of like what David Wilson is with the Giants. Ridley did have 16 carries for 40 yards, and let's be fair, the Jets' run defense is pretty good.
Yeah,
so
I'll give the Jets that.
Their defense is really good. This is where the Jets had fun. Until the fourth quarter, the Jets were in the whole entire game. Actually, the whole game, the Jets were in it, but.
Other than that first drive where the Patriots just went down the field and scored, the touchdown pass.
Geno Smith was 15 for 35 for 214 yards. He actually outthrew Tom Brady, which you don't see every day. Chris Ivory, and their running game was pretty good. Ivory had 52 yards and Powell got 48 yards. So that's 100 yards rushing for both of them. Well, combined.
Yeah.
Which that's all you ask for.
Yeah.
That's
especially with two running backs.
That's not too shabby. Stephen Hill actually had a decent game for 4 receptions for 86 yards. Not really expected out of that.
Honestly, if
Geno Smith didn't throw 4 picks in the end of the game, and it was just too big of a moment for Geno Smith. 3 picks. I'm sorry. It was just too big of a moment for Geno Smith, kind of thing. I think they should have drove the ball a little bit, ran the ball a little bit more, and then kicked the game-tying field goal instead. That's just me. He just took it upon himself, and they should have checked it down. That's my humble opinion on that third down play. But you know what? You gotta like his moxie. It's his team to run right now because Mark Sanchez is done for the season with his torn labrum. So this week with the Jets, they're home at a 425 start against the also up-and-start Buffalo Bills, who easily should have been 2-0 with that close loss to the Patriots in Week 1. So the Pats, 2 starts with the two division rivals, barely get out, and they are 2-0. But at the end of the day, it's wins that matter. So they are top of the division right now. But they're
tied for top of the division.
With the Dolphins, correct?
Yes, don't forget.
But it's really impressive how both the Jets and the Bills were able to fight to the very last minute with 2 rookie quarterbacks. I actually heard Will Forks mention last week in the post game. Maybe this is good for the Patriots because they're so used to blowing by teams, and that towards the playoff time, they do not know how to respond to adversity. Which I could see that theory, and that is a very good theory, and maybe that's what they need, and maybe they'll find a way to make it through the playoffs and maybe win the Super Bowl. But that's so far down the line, so that doesn't even matter. But it's going to be interesting this week. 2 rookie quarterbacks, E.J. Manuel, which everybody in the NFL is absolutely taken by storm this year so far in 2 weeks, who's been pretty good.
You can't complain about him.
No, he drove the team for a game-winning drive last week against the Panthers. So, and he almost had one against the Pats. So
he's 45 for 66 with 446 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And that's pretty impressive. And Robert Woods from USC has actually had a good first couple of games in his career as well.
He should be thanking me, by the way. I have him on one of my teams, and I leave him on my bench.
Yeah. So yeah,
and he's got 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. But honestly, let's be real. You weren't going to play Robert Woods anyway, even though that happened. That was
I did like his matchup last week. I thought about it. He did have a favorable matchup.
Yeah, I should have played Noshawn Marino, but that's to the Giants thing. Anyway, it's just one of those things. It could go either way. I'm just going to pick the Jets winning this game just because they're the home team, and it's going to be E.J. Manuel's first start on the road. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. See, maybe the Jets fans show up this week and that they know Sanchez isn't coming back.
He won't be there, folks. Show up.
So, kind of thing, and they'll be a little bit more geared up that they did win their first game, and then they played all 4 quarters against the Pats. Everybody was expecting a blowout versus the Pats. So Jet fans are going to be a little bit excited. I think the Jets are going to find a way to win.
You know what bothered me? People asking Rex Ryan if Geno was still the quarterback.
Yeah, and the thing is that's bothering me about that is Rex Ryan hasn't committed to it yet.
Well, he committed to it this week.
Yeah.
But don't ask that question. It's 2 games in, and he's playing well.
The way I'm gonna say it though, unfortunately, the next 2 games they're gonna be on the road.
After this week,
they're going to be in Tennessee, and they're going to be at the Falcons. So, Monday night against the Falcons, oof. Oy, that's going to be an ugly one, depending on what happens. But then again, we didn't expect the Jets to hang in there versus the Patriots. But it is what it is. Anyway, who did you take this week, the Bills or the Jets?
I'm actually going to go with the Bills. I like the chemistry A.J. Manuel had.
I can understand that. I just feel that Jets could win this one this week.
I feel like it could come down to the home crowd playing a factor in it type game.
It's going to be an ugly game. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to be. They'll both have fun, exciting moments because they're both young, good quarterbacks. But I just love Rex and their defense, and Marty's going to be able to contain one of the guys. And
yes.
And I think D. Milner is going to be able, granted he got benched the second half of the Patriots game, I think he's going to step it up and be able to play another rookie in Robert Woods. So
Did that really matter if he was benched during the Patriot game? It's not like anybody was catching anything.
No, I know, but that's kind of scary that he's getting benched in that kind of game because no one is doing anything. But D. Milner is a first draft pick overall for this year for the Jets. So you assume he's going to bounce back. So
he's got big shoes to fill. Also.
I think the Jets are going to find a way to pound the ball, and they're going to find a way to win.
The reason I'm taking the Bills is it's E.J. Manuel is a very talented player.
Of course,
I think he's better than Geno, of course. Mm-hmm. And you have 2 receivers.
Fair enough.
And you also have C.J. Spiller.
Yes.
So really, you have 3 receivers and a running back. Also, Fred Jackson is also a running back there. I don't know who their tight end is.
Chandler, he's all right.
All right. So still, I think they have more weapons at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To end up winning a game.
I'm just going up the underdog. I don't know the spread, but
1 point for the Jets.
Oh, okay. So I'm not technically going with the underdog.
All right. Better question. 39 is the over/under.
Under.
Under 39?
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see under 39. Yep. Under 39. But yeah, I just think the Bills, I think E.J. Manuel he looked so professional on that last drive.
But I think the first road game is going to say a lot.
I think he'll have those bugs early. and then he'll step up and
Yeah,
get him out of him.
I think this is the last chance for the Jets to win a game, arguably, for a while. So they need to get it done this week.
There is another New York team, but we're going to take a little break, play a little Crust the Bear, and we'll be right back.
SNDPODCAST is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
We talked about the Jets. Now we're going to bring it to more of a somber note with the 0-2 New York Football Giants.
Not the first time.
Not the first time. The last time that happened, a miracle happened in Arizona, and the Giants beat the undefeated New England Patriots. I'm not saying that's going to happen again. Completely different team, like Antonio Pierce said. But we've done it before. Eli has done it before, and Coughlin has done it before. You want to take it away before I vent about this game?
Did I expect to win this game?
No. Neither did I. But this game really frustrated the living hell out of me. I'm not going to lie.
It was just one of those, like, what are you doing?
It was one of those you bring a knife to a gunfight kind of thing, kind of game. You can't beat the Denver Broncos with field goals.
No.
And that's what the Giants brought. And unfortunately, a lot of turning points in this game last week. A lot. The first play of the game, the Broncos' first drive of the game, they drive it down our throats. We found ways to stop them, and
then they fumbled.
They fumbled. Monty Ball fumbled into the end zone, and we picked it up. I'm like, okay. It was amazing to see Peyton in person for the first time ever. Which it was cool seeing it in person for the first time.
You know what was even more interesting about that drive? It started on like the 10 because of a penalty.
Yeah. So okay. But we've got to third downs almost every time. And it was like, okay, fine. This is expected. We drive Victor Cruz on a big 51-yard pass. All right, let's go. We got this going. For the love of God, for every single year, it's for some godforsaken reason. We cannot find a way in the end zone, in the touchdown in the red zone. It's one of the most frustrating things. I can't fathom why we forget. Between outside the 20s, we are one of the best teams in the league. So we kick a field goal there. We're just trading points with them throughout the whole game, which everybody knows. And then then the second half happened.
Then something happened in the locker room, and
I don't know what happened.
Everybody on Denver had Peyton's special juice, and like, woo, let's play better.
And then Brandon Myers trips on his own feet.
Everyone kept tripping over there. Every time we got by the 25, everybody tripped.
I yelled sniped. He got sniped by someone in the 300 section. Like you knew from that moment on, the Giants they were just doomed this whole entire game. The turning point of the game, though, this week's turning point was definitely Eli being a bonehead and throwing a stupid fade to Akeem Nicks in the end zone with 3 Broncos all over him. And it's like, I love Eli. We both love Eli, but sometimes Eli just has those, what the hell are you doing, Eli? I know you have all the confidence in the world with Akeem and Victor Cruz, but you got to use your head sometimes, man. I know they're going to make the plays more times than not, but that's the place we should have made the smarter play call, not be Mr. Gunslinger in that particular moment. We did deserve to lose this game. There's no doubt about it. I left right after the kickoff, the punt return.
The minute he started running, I got up.
Yeah, everybody left. It was just one of those frustrating things. We didn't expect the Giants to win, of course, because the Broncos are the best team in the league. I don't care what anybody says; they are the best team in the league. Unless you're a Seahawks fan, I could listen to your argument, but they are the best team, bar none. They're the best team in the whole entire league. The Giants stood toe-to-toe with them until the mid-third quarter. So I am proud of them. That was just a frustrating thing. The one thing I do have to say is can we I know we love to put people in the doghouse. Can we give David Wilson a little bit more, try to get him going a little bit? He is our focal point in our offense this year. He's going to be our unsung hero. We need him to click, not give Brendan Jacobs more carries and Darrell Scott more carries. We get it. He fumbled 2 times in week 1. We need to get him going. We had no running game on Sunday whatsoever.
By the way, I have a nice little bit of numbers for you.
Broncos. Broncos.
Bronco numbers for you.
Go ahead, shoot. After I finish, interrupt me with this rant, but go on. Definitely go for it.
You needed a breath. I saw.
No, it's just frustrating. I'm not panicking at all. It's just me frustrated with the Giants team overall.
Broncos have beaten the last 2 Super Bowl champions. They combined 90-50.
Oh yeah, they're just going nuts, and they're playing the Raiders this weekend. Oh my God, Monday night I should say. They have a shot to go undefeated this year.
Look at who they play all year.
Exactly. But back to my David Wilson thing. I'm happy that we have Brendan Jacobs back. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Brendan Jacobs of 4 years ago. Even the year we had him the last Super Bowl run, he was 3rd on our depth chart pretty much the whole season. Well, he had no reason. He was number 2, but let's be real, it was a Bradshaw's team, and Danny Ware got majority of the carries that year too.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was Jacobs and Bradshaw that year. Can you please try to can you get David Wilson on the field?
One thing you saw in the second half was Wilson was out on kick returns.
Yeah, he was out on kick returns the whole second half.
Right, because you can see that was where they wanted to try and get him to gain his confidence back.
It's honestly they didn't give him a shot. I'm sorry, they didn't give him a shot. The offensive line was absolutely brutal with the running game. The one real legit chance David Wilson had running, he got lit up before he even had it. He got the ball handed off to him, and he got destroyed. What do you expect him to do? He
held the ball.
Yeah. Do you remember that play?
Yes.
It was just. Then we stopped completely away from the run. Myers and Eli have to get connected. He was there.
I don't know if it's Myers who has no idea what's going on, but there were actually a couple plays where Myers got lit up.
Yeah.
And yet he still stayed out there, and they let him. There was a play, he got laid out. The next play we threw it to him, it went right through his hands. He was on the ground, couldn't get up. They helped him up. He stayed on the field for the field goal, and they basically carried him off the field.
Yeah, it was just one of those. It was just a frustrating week. We got to get this offense right, and and Antro Roll is absolutely right with showing no emotion. Yeah. You could tell. You can tell that they had no emotion. And can I ask you another thing? Why didn't Aaron Ross get any snaps in DB?
He must have did something stupid. He was on the field. To be fair, we played nickel the entire game. We played nickel.
I know. And Terrell Thomas did actually play good.
And he covered Welker.
Okay, thank you. That was my other point that I need to.
You put the guy with the bad ACL with
no. That's not even what I'm gonna bitch about. One thing thank you for reminding me. On Wes Welker's touchdown, how many freaking times have you seen Wes Welker do the same exact route?
Every time.
Every freaking time.
He only has 3 routes in his book. It's go to the left, go to the right, go up the middle.
I must be extra salty.
Or the button hook.
I guess I must be extra salty because it was right in front of my face. And I said, watch Welker on the slant. Here we go.
Yep.
Bam. I'm like, and I'm calling it from in the 300s. I think Perry Fuel and everybody and their mother should know that play is going to be run. It's just the Giants are not playing motivated football right now. And it's the same thing that happened in 2007. They need to wake up. And this week, they're playing a Carolina Panther team that could be 2-0 as well. But they're equally sloppy, and they're not as good unless Cam Newton decides to wake up this week.
Yeah.
It's pretty much... It's funny how last year's... It's the similar game from 2 years ago. Well, last year, I'm sorry. Can the Giants frustrate Cam Newton again and knock them around and find a way to win? I think so. The Giants are in a must-win. They're
You're in a must-win at this point.
Both teams are in a must-win, but the Giants have more talent than the Carolina Panthers, and the Giants will find a way to win, opposed to Carolina.
Another interesting numbers-wise was Victor Cruz.
Victor Cruz, yeah.
Another 100-yard game.
Yeah, he just piles them up, man.
And it was, I think they said it was since like 2009 or 2010, 2011, whatever year Cruz's first year was.
His first legit year?
Yeah.
It was 2011, 2012, yeah.
The first Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's him and Calvin.
Yeah.
They're like 1-2 for most 100-yard games.
Hey, man, Victor comes to play, man. And don't you love how I say man like Victor Cruz every time he has an interview? That's all he says. Yeah, man, I'm just trying to play hard every day, man, and everything like that. But there's 2 players, 3 players that week in, week out, I am never worried that they're going to show up. Can you name the other 2?
What?
2 Giants that I'm never worried week in, week out.
Eli and Cruz.
Eli and the other one. There's one guy on defense. Antrell.
Oh, yeah. Antrell shows up every week.
Those are the only 3 Giants that I expect to play decent week in and week out. Every other Giant is a question mark. And that can't happen. Okay. So it's just one of those that the Giants have to be more motivated. Their run defense has been solid as of late. It's their passing game that's been shabby, and it hasn't been too terrible. Granted, it doesn't look like that with the scoreboard, but it's misleading because of the turnovers that we've been throwing away. We just got the Giants just have to cut down the turnovers this week and play fundamentally sound football. Just get back to the basics, play one game at a time, and find a way to win. They need this win badly, and I think at the end of the day, they are going to find a way because they are more of a team compared to the Panthers, and they've been there before. What do you think this week is in store for the Giants?
It's a win. It's a win. You got to consider it a win. You got to hope it's a win.
If we don't win this week, it's going to be a very long season. It's
really besides Smith, there's nobody to stop. You have to worry about.
D'Angelo's going to get his yards. Right. Calvin's going to get his yardage as well. Cam, I'm sorry. Cam's going to get his yards as well. It's just we got to eliminate the stupid mistakes and get off the field on 3rd down. And
also, touchdowns, not field goals.
Touchdowns, not field goals as well. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Giants eke it out, hopefully.
Yes. Just another game note from last week. It was the 400th win since 1970 for the Broncos.
Oh, wow.
I just saw that. I thought it was interesting.
That was pretty interesting.
It's also the first time Denver won in New York against the Giants since 1980.
Yeah, well, we thank Monty Toomer for 2.
The last 2.
Yes.
Can't
honestly, it's did we expect the Giants to beat the Broncos? No. What was frustrating on how we lost that game. It just looked like after something happened in halftime.
It should have been a lot closer.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It should have been a lot closer.
And we were closer the whole game. We were within a point the whole entire game. And that's what made that game frustrating.
And then we decided to have a punt return. Yep. And we forgot to put tackle on that. Trade on Holiday. Who, by the way, is 5'11" and like 160.
But that's okay. That's another thing. That dude had 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown in the game against the Ravens last year.
Yeah, the playoff game.
Yep. Let's just surprisingly, who had a shitty game. Steve Weatherford also had a crappy game as well. He didn't have the best of games, which is rare lately. So I expect him to bounce back too this week. But
not somebody I worry about.
Okay, fine. He's another one that we don't expect every week.
Yeah, we could put him in that.
All right, fine. But you knew what I meant. But those 3 guys are the only guys you expect to play, would know what to expect every week. And Prince is starting to get there.
10 tackles, by the way, for Prince. I was just about to mention that.
Prince is starting to get there with me. Prince is finally earning his first-round status. And by the way, he's Black Tim Tebow, by the way. Good article this week I read.
Okay. How many sacks did we have that Peyton just was like, get off me?
Two, I remember.
At least two, right?
Two off the top of my head. And it was Sean Williams, Jenkins both times. He's like, nope, not getting sacked. And they were both on third down, too. I'm going to leave the pass rush alone this week for the sheer fact that the Giants' game plan, you can tell, was a lot conservative.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan of it.
No. They did, however, bring in a couple guys this week.
Yeah, Kerry Rhodes. I would love to have the Giants pick up Kerry Rhodes.
And also Leroy Hill.
Okay.
The linebacker from Seattle a couple years ago.
Okay. Honestly, they would have been signed already, so they're probably not going to be picked up.
At least for this week.
Also,
our condolences to the Coughlin family.
Of course, Tom Coughlin's brother did unfortunately pass away this week, so condolences to them as well. I'm sure Tom's going to take off Monday and Tuesday of next week to say his final goodbyes to that. So
yes, so condolences to the
hopefully they win one for Coughlin and his family for this week. We definitely need it.
Yes.
I have the Giants winning. You have the Giants winning. I know. Well, we can't say we're homers because we didn't pick them to win last week, but they need to win one badly. So
We're also playing the Panthers, so that's also why we're picking them.
Yeah. So go Giants with that. Oh, what is the spread this week anyway? I was just curious to see.
2.5.
2.5 G-men.
I think when I woke up this morning, Carolina had a 3.
Oh
no, they were giving the Giants 2.5.
Okay, that's what you expected. You're at home, so all right, go Giants.
Was it 2.5?
I'm done venting for this week with the G-men. I'm not.
Actually, it's even at this point.
Okay, I'm done venting about.
All right,
the Giants.
fine. Over under 45.5.
Over.
We're gonna go over with that. Yeah, both teams' defenses. Yeah. Giants should be able to put up 30 against the defense.
They should. We dominated them with Andre Brown and Ramses Barden last year. Remember that awful game? Oh my God.
That was the Thursday night game last year.
Yes, it was.
Oh boy. Anyhow, go G-Men. Let's play some more Division 1.1 and we'll be right back.
SNDPODCAST is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
And we're back on the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Cross Bear, who is currently in the studio working on new stuff.
We talked to Brian on Sunday at the tailgate.
Yes.
So he's very optimistic what's going on. So it's pretty awesome to see and talking to him about everything. So,
and don't forget, if you want a Division 1 rundown t-shirt, $20. If you want a trucker hat, Division 1.1, it will be $10. Just let us know, and we can get it for you. Now to the Around the League NFL. And before we go, the interesting fact from last week was Tampa Bay. First team ever to lose 2 games in a row in the final seconds.
Well, that's what happens when you're a crappy team and do stupid stuff at the end of the game. So,
and Revis already wants out. How about that?
Yeah. There's some things just don't change. It's just one of those things.
There's no Revis Island when they play zone.
Yeah, well, of course. Of course, but wouldn't you want to play the benefit of your strength of your top guys, though? But that's a different story.
If we're going to talk about that, then we might as well talk about the Colts-Niner game.
They are a mess. They are a mess. Because their quote-unquote captain and quarterback is getting thrown under the bus and stuff.
But if we're going to talk about building around their best player, look who did not do that. The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Who on the 18th have traded last year's first overall pick. Who's what, third, fourth? I think it was the fourth pick.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Trent Richardson to the Indianapolis Colts.
For a first-round draft pick because he doesn't fit.
Nothing.
Something had to happen. There's no freaking way any general manager lets that happen, that they trade one of their only reliable and key. I know they don't care about fantasy football, but their only value player on their team offensively. So they're trying to get a top pick along with another pick that the Colts game. What would you be if you were Jim Irsay and they came?
Yes, please.
Okay. Are you kidding? That's all they were missing. And Vic Ballard just went on the IR.
Right.
Ahmad Bradshaw is not Ahmad Bradshaw from 2007, even a couple years ago, may I add.
Right.
He has another foot injury away from never walking again. As much as that sounded awful of me saying, it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
They just got handed a top 6 running back in the league, fantasy-wise, of course, but that could formulate now because they have Andrew Luck as his quarterback.
Yep. He just became a reliable PPR league guy also.
What? Oh, God.
You know who else has to be kicking himself? Peyton Manning. All those years in Indy and they couldn't get him a running back?
Adrian James was serviceable for a while and other things like that. But, oh, my God. That when you told me, because I was busy tonight before the show, and I go, what? No. What?
Well, there's a reason why.
That's why
I'll tell you what.
Suck.
I'll tell you what. I like my Colts to win that division pick a little bit better
now, yeah.
I like that pick a little bit better. But speaking of the Colts, they do play probably, I think, arguably one of the, if not the best game this week.
Yeah,
at San Francisco.
I'm gonna kick myself in the ass for doing this, but after the ass kicking the Niners got last week from the Seahawks, I do have the Colts winning. I think they're gonna find a way to win with their talent now and their prize running back. Granted, it's going to take a while for him to probably learn some plays, but he's a...
Here's the ball. Run.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the 49ers... I have the Colts winning. I don't know why I have the Colts winning, but let's scratch that. I'm going 49ers. After last week's butt kicking...
At home, you got to give.
Hallberg is just going to have them ready to go. Kaepernick not going to have that shitty game again. Especially home against a lesser opponent defensively as a Colts. So I'm gonna on the sheet I picked Colts. I don't know why I did that, but I'm gonna change my mind and go 49ers.
Alrighty. Yeah, I got the 49ers. I just Richardson or not, it's not gonna change that defense for San Francisco. And
but next few weeks the Colts are gonna be awesome, and I'll pick them probably every week. But yeah. The Niners, just too much is going on against the Colts this week.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Especially at home. Got to take the Niners. Next game we'll talk about. My second favorite game of this week is Packers-Bengals.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome game. A lot of juice going to be in that game after the Monday Night Football game of the Bengals.
Yeah, they looked really well too.
What's his face came out of. On my drawing, Bernard came out of not out of the blue, but he had his coming out party against the Steelers. A couple touchdowns, so they looked good. Tyler Eifert had that one breakup play, which was pretty awesome. Gresham had a great game. It was crazy. AJ Green didn't really have a good game, and they still found a way to win. So that's good to see with the Bengals. Aaron Rodgers, after losing Week 1, finally had the "I'm Aaron Rodgers and you're not" kind of game.
Kind of expected that at home.
So I'm going to go Packers again. But it's going to be a close game, but I see the Packers again at home. They're going to find a way to win.
Well, I'm sorry to Big Ben. You'll hate me for this, but Bengals are going to win this game at home. I don't trust Green Bay's secondary that much, and I think AJ is going to have a great game.
Okay.
And I need AJ to have a great game in, I think, 2 leagues. So, yeah.
I could see that.
So that's going to be my pick for that game. What's another game you want to talk about?
The other game I want to talk about is tomorrow night's game, actually. The Chiefs versus the Eagles. I know we both have kind of different answers to this game. So it's Andy Reid's return tomorrow back to the link. And it's Donovan McNabb night where they're going to put his name in the ring, right? They're not retiring the number. They're just putting his name up in the ring,
I think they're retiring it. I don't think they have a Ring of Honor. I think they retire.
Okay, so whatever. They're honoring McNabb in whatever capacity the Eagles do. I think I'm going to have to... I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think they are going to find a way to beat the Eagles and steal one for Andy Reid. I think they're going to find a way to steal one.
I just don't trust the team to figure out that offense in 3 days.
I know.
Basically.
But then again, who did they lose to last week?
The Eagles?
Yeah.
Also Chargers.
So I think the Chiefs are better.
Oh, it's going to be a high-scoring game, no question.
I think the Chiefs are going to find a way to win.
I think that the Eagles will end up winning. The winning of the momentum of having Donovan there and that whole ceremony thing is going to motivate them a little bit, and I feel like they're just going to win that game. The other game we're going to talk about is the 2-0 Bears at the 0-2 Steelers.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be the first time in God knows how long that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 0-3. I just love the way that the Bears have been playing. Their defense has been stout, like we kind of expected. Their offense has been clicking on all cylinders with Forte and Marshall and Cutler being healthy as of right now. They are leading the division right now. So I'm going to stick with the Bears. They're going to find a way to pull this out this week. The Steelers just offensively look god-awful. They're that one team that makes the Bears' offensive line look a little bit better lately.
Yeah.
It's just that Big Ben is...
you got to think the Steelers are going to win.
Okay, I go Bears. I think it's going to be another week.
I think the Steelers are going to win. I can't see them going 0-3. I just can't see it at all. So I'm going to have to go with the Steelers in this game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. Just the Murphy Law. I like the Bears.
Alrighty. We won't really get into this game, but will the Jaguars cover the 19.5 when they go to Seattle?
No, definitely not.
No? You don't think the Jaguars can cover that?
And then before, I do want to get in touch with one more game. RG3 game, the Redskins game. Do you think they're going to pull out a win?
They're playing this week.
The Lions. It's going to be a tricky matchup. That's a tricky matchup. I think the Redskins are going to pull it off, and now RG3 finally has it.
I think he's ready to. I think he's ready.
I'm hoping because I have him in one of my fantasy leagues that I'm 0-2 in, and I need him to wake up. So
I'm ready.
I'm not calling you now. If you have Cam Newton, play him because I'm not playing him against the Giants. He's going to have like a 45-point game. So calling.
We don't want him to have a 45-point game.
I know, but that's.
Let's get it. You should play him just because we need a win.
No, I'm good. I need a win in fantasy, and I'm just as desperate as a Giant win. I need a win in that league as well. So I'm playing that guy, the number one team right now in that league, which no one expected. So things are upside down in that world. So let's see what happens. I think RG3 is finally going to wake up on that.
Yeah, I think he's ready too. It's going to be a fun NFL season.
It's going to be a fun week. It's been ups and downs and lefts and rights, twists and turns. It's going to be interesting. I hope I get all the right picks this week.
Alrighty.
And we're actually different picks this week for once.
We do have a bunch of different picks this week. Also, 2 little promotions. One, baseball season's almost over. We will be doing like we did with the NHL.
Okay.
The playoff brackets. So when those come out, you let us know your picks. We'll make sure to get those up. Also, don't forget, next week we will have our regular show. Regular schedule will be up next Thursday morning. But also by the next weekend, you will be able to hear our NHL season preview featuring Eyes on Isle's own Andy, who we've had on a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And Blue Line Nation Andrew, Andy's son. We'll talk.
And also be sure to check out their podcast as well after listening to ours, of course.
Yes.
It should be on YouTube. Hopefully, I guess the person who was taking care of it was busy today. But I was talking to Andy. It should have been up this afternoon, but of conflict, I'm sure something happened.
Of course, when it's up, we will make sure to retweet it.
And retweet it and share it on Facebook.
Yes. Hockey season has started. The preseason has started. Only 2 weeks away from the regular season. 2 weeks
away from regular season. So.
And also, we're working on our NBA preview for the middle to end of next month as well.
Yep.
Which comes first, our preview show or Derek Rose playing?
Preview show.
Had to throw that in there. All I know is how many ACL injuries
2.
had not him, Terrell Thomas have?
3.
And he came back before him.
Yeah.
Say.
Crazy idea. Crazy thought. Anyway, that's this week's show. Continue to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that other fun jazz. Once again, thank you for everybody listening, and have a great night.
And also, thank you to Division 1.1. let's go play the ending of Cross the Bear, and we'll see you guys next week.